Okay.
All right. The meeting will come to order. For public information, a copy of Nebraska Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of the meeting room on the east wall, in case anybody needs to see that. We'll have roll call.
Harris,
Here.
Knapper,
Here.
Meyer,
Here.
Reisig,
Here.
Blue.
Here.
If we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. It looks like we pretty much have regulars here tonight, but I'll remind everyone that if you are going to be speaking, be sure you come up to the microphone because this meeting is being recorded and to be played back later. I always encourage everyone to try and make sure their cell phones are off or on silent. I'll do that now. Mine. Want to remind commissioners that we need to speak clearly and loudly into our microphones. And I think that's the main items for this evening. The next thing, of course, we are in the portion of, on our agenda, the portion that's down at the bottom. We are going to need to approve the agenda, and then we'll be moving down to those items down in the lower portion of this, right, Kelly?
Yes.
Okay. So I would entertain someone to, or entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right. I might have some discussion. So, Jason, so my understanding is we might have an executive session. Does that need to be added to this agenda?
You know, since you know about it ahead of time, you could add it to the agenda.
Okay. I know that Kelly had asked for one, and then I just get confirmed before the meeting that that Jason's gonna be okay with that. So, I mean, we can certainly just add it at the end, or we can add it to the agenda, whatever you wanna do. It's up to you.
You could vote on adding it to the agenda at the beginning to take up a personnel matter.
Okay?
Just a quick question, Jason, and I asked it yesterday, didn't get really an answer. If we're talking about a individual, doesn't that individual have the opportunity to ask for an open session rather than an executive session?
You know, in the circumstances, that is an option that an employee has. I think with the budget matter that's being brought to the committee, it isn't necessarily directed at their performance as much as there's an issue tied to a personnel matter and a related budget issue, and I think if it's discussed publicly, it can harm that person's reputation, and it would be clear
Which I'm okay with. I don't like that option to do things in an open session. I don't want to get ourselves into trouble here if we don't do that.
And this would be very limited executive session related to that budget issue that would impact a private employee matter.
If you're fine with it, then
All right, so I got possibly ahead of myself when I asked to approve the agenda. And, so what you're suggesting, Jason, is that we should maybe vote on the idea of going into an executive session and add that to the agenda?
It would be at this point, if you're gonna do it that way, voting on adding it to the agenda, and then when we take it up, there'd be a specific vote about whether or not the board is in agreement to go into executive session.
We'll leave it like it is. We'll
Okay.
leave the vote like it is.
If we're gonna add it, then in that,
We have to back everything up.
yeah.
Okay.
So I guess, I would ask if whoever seconded it and the actual motion, if we can rescind those. would be
I'll
my-
rescind my second.
I'll rescind my motion.
All right, so Jason, would it be okay and appropriate that if we had a motion to modify the agenda to add an executive session concerning a budget/personnel matter?
Yes.
And we'll do that first and then, or is that part of the motion to approve the agenda with that addition?
So at this point, it would just be taking up the addition to the agenda. And when it comes to that agenda item later in the meeting, we would have to have a vote specifically to go into an executive session.
So could this motion be something like, approve the agenda with the addition of an executive session?
Yes.
That's your motion.
I guess I could do that. So I would move that we approve the agenda with the addition of adding an executive session to discuss personnel/budget items.
I'll second that.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. You're gonna call the roll tonight, I'm assuming?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Harris,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Knapper,
Yes.
Reisig.
Yes.
Boy, that's.
So that would add it on, and I'm assuming we'll put that down, possibly right in front of the budget discussion.
I would I mean, that's the line I made to add it.
Okay,
It's-
Just-
It works.
because we're not gonna be able to finish the budget discussion item until we deal with that, I think. So we'll go the executive session right above the budget discussion. All right. Okay, then with all that in mind, then the first item on the agenda is to discuss and consider approval of a resolution for subdivision preliminary levies for fiscal year 2025 to 2026. Ms. Kelly?
Yes, so we do this every year. Fire districts, cemetery districts, drainage districts, the airport and the ag society, this is part I don't understand. I believe they're included in part of our levy. So we have to set the preliminary levies and they submit a request as to what they need. We get valuations from Robert, our assessor, and then the math is done. And what I have for you guys is the resolution to consider for approval. And then tomorrow, if this goes through, I will be mailing a copy of this resolution to all of the political subdivisions.
And that resolution are these 2 pages
That's in your
right
packet,
here
right?
that we got yesterday.
Yes. And I do have the backup that I used to produce this, but
Yours, okay.
I'm proofreading, I found a mistake, so, I mean, I've gone over this more than 3 times, I think, is probably what I've done.
Okay.
And then no, I didn't, nothing, the only thing I saw was, excuse me. No, I didn't bring that part of it. For the airport, their request for 2025 is 1,565,000, and what generates from that 0.35 for them is a lot less. And then the bond amount that they submitted is a lot less than I remember last year's being as well. That was the only thing that jumped out at me. But I pulled the application, their resolution, and double checked it one more time.
So, you feel comfortable with these numbers? is what
Yeah,
you're
and
saying?
then, like I said, if this goes through, then we'll get it sent out to them right away. So if if they see anything glaring, that they can.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is a, item that is required to be done,
Annually,
yeah,
by September 1st, I believe.
I see. That's one
I
of the
think last
reasons,
year we had it done on the 30th, so,
that's one of the reasons we're having this meeting is particularly
that-
for this
right, we
deadline.
wanted to get Robert's values and give me time to input it and check it, so.
Okay. Any other discussion on this item from anyone? Okay, if not, I entertain a motion.
I move that we accept and approve the preliminary levies for the subdivisions.
Okay. Which, is this resolution.
And I'll possibly be sending it around for signatures.
Possibly what?
Be sending it around for signatures,
Oh,
if we
yeah,
ever get a
yeah,
second.
tonight, yeah. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the resolution with the tax levies. Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Blue,
Yes.
Knapper,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Reisig,
Yes.
Meyer.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go to the next item on the agenda, which is discuss and consider sheriff wage request for fiscal year 2025-2026 based on comparable county wage review. Lisa?
We had a executive session at our last meeting. We showed you the array. Basically, we reopen the sheriff's union every year for wages only, based on the array from our comparison counties. We need the final approval. Sheriff wasn't able to be here. I can call him by phone if you would like, but I think he kind of covered your questions at that executive session 2 weeks ago.
And that's the information on the back
Yes.
here
Mhm.
from what was passed out yesterday.
Right, one that needs signatures, and then I have a comparison one. I don't remember if I handed that off to you of last year's compared to this year's and the difference in the amounts.
I don't think we got that with this set of information, but we had it before.
Yeah,
What?
I might not have given it to you, Kelly.
We got this.
Okay,
I had a
And-
comparison thing.
and I think I misspoke. If you have an original for them to sign that you could get to me.
Oh, yeah.
I put it in the packet, but I'm not finding it in
Okay, that's what we present to you. I thought it was done last meeting, and then I learned it was not.
So in our executive session previously, we did get to discuss this and at least see the numbers at that time. And these are those numbers that were
Yes.
I'd move for approval of the county sheriff's union contract.
I'll second that.
Now, I want to be sure, he said the contract,
For wages only.
wages only, okay.
Right.
Agrees to
Okay.
reopen it for salary
Very good.
review
Okay.
only during this 23 to 26.
All right,
We're
very
not,
good.
we're
That
not,
help?
we're not negotiating the contract now,
Right, just the wages.
just the wage.
Just the wages.
All right, very good. So did we get a second on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Meyer.
Yeah.
Blue,
Yes.
Reisig,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Knapper.
Yes.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the executive session that we talked about earlier. And I would move pursuant to section 84-1410 of the reissue of the revised statutes known as Nebraska Public Meetings Law, that the board hold a closed session with Jason Ocean, obviously the commissioners, Kelly, Lisa, and Kaina to be in that meeting. For the purpose of discussion of job performance of a person, I further move that this closed session is clearly necessary for the protection of the public interest and for the prevention of needless injury to the reputation of individuals, and the person has not requested a public meeting, and that sessions with respect to personnel matters and job performance are authorized by the Nebraska Public Meetings Law.
Are we okay with that motion?
I was just gonna say that. We're still talking about a person here, folks.
Yeah.
Call it whatever way you want. We're still talking about a individual.
The only other thing, I guess, that I would, say in relation to budget matters
There we go.
is,
That might be better.
and that's the purpose, but he wrote this, so I didn't.
But, I mean, it's a little bit different situation. It is regarding my budget, not a person, and my request for a person, so. We're not talking solely about, it's the need for a person. But I have
That's the
to-
motion.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second that.
All right, call the
Jason,
roll.
one more question.
Oh, yeah.
Does that fall into the line of an executive session to discuss a budget item?
In this circumstance, the issue is still
Okay.
the impact
Still.
on somebody's reputation.
I'll just,
And it's gonna
again,
be a very
I don't like it at
narrow-
all, but I don't wanna
Yeah.
get ourselves into a problem here.
It's gonna be a very narrow executive session for that one purpose.
Okay.
But the issue is otherwise it's discussed publicly, and I think that as presented, it would impact somebody's reputation.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
All right, call the roll.
Harris,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Knapper,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Reisig,
Yes.
All right, so show us going into executive session at 4:50. Lisa, are we gonna go back in your room?
Sure can.
All right, we'll try and make this as short as possible.
and,
You're ready then?
no,
Oh, tell me when.
are you gonna state the obvious?
Yeah.
It was 5:20, by the way, when he was excused,
Okay,
and I showed that we're back at 5:25.
okay, you ready?
Yes,
Okay. We'll be back in regular session. Wanted to mention, and I asked Charlie to come through here and tell people that he was leaving, to go to I think, Sun's sports item, but he left from the executive session at 5:20,
correct.
according to the clerk. And, so, just be aware of that. So we are back from executive session. I would, say that, no action was taken in an executive session and no votes were taken. So, you need anything else on the
I was just gonna do
executive
roll
session? Okay. Go ahead.
Harris,
Here,
Meyer.
Here.
Reisig,
Here.
Blue,
Here.
do I call Knapper, if I know he's excused? No answer.
You're gonna record it as gone.
Excused at 5:29.
Okay. All right. So we're going back to the budget item that, which was next. And, so we'll continue the budget discussion. Yesterday, we got to the point of cutting the, amounts, down to 15,248, is that right? Did we get down to that?
I thought it was 16.
That's the last number I have.
Yeah, 15 to
15,248.
48, yeah.
Yeah, at 4:58 last night, we were down to a tax asking number of 15,248,000.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Okay. So when we stopped last evening, we were at a tax asking of 15,248,000.
Ish, yeah. I thought it
Yeah, within,
And
Few
the magic
thousand.
number was 15,293,000.
right. So we're less than, what was proposed by 3 members of the commissioners, which was to keep the mill levy the same at 0.367. And, so we're a little bit below that actually,
Yeah, we're at point
by
3.
50,000,
63 at the moment.
okay? 0.363,
We're at 3 right there. See that number?
no, I can't read,
Point
366.
3663.
0.3663.
Where last year it was 0.367413. But I gave you paperwork on COLAs because we talked about that and a certain member was talking about that on his public feed last night.
And so Lisa did give us
Right.
a couple of new sheets. I have not looked at them yet.
Okay, and Russ asked me a question. Can I run by that real quick? Okay. Comm Center budget. Comm Center is complex because we pay for it through 3 different funds, we call them, 3 different checking accounts. One we already showed you was called, get out there. The 29, the advisory fund, where Scotts Bluff contributes, Gearing contributes, Mitchell, Lyman, Moore, all these cities and villages.
Across Banner County.
And Vanderbilt, okay. That's called the advisory fund. So, we are budgeting them $1,016,000. And our portion is Scotts Bluff County's portion, which is not tax asking, let me put that out there. Am I looking at the right column? It is $123,542. That comes from we've always given that from the Keno Fund, okay? And that pays for, so Linda, help me, that's our Motorola maintenance fee is a big deal. Out of that, we're setting aside money for
radio consoles that will be aging out in 2029.
and these other entities are going to help us pay for that. That pays for different phone services and,
It pays for data lines and voice lines, and it is covering the utilities at the radio tower sites. And then licensing, so for your FCC license to operate, we have to have those, and they cover that. And then equipment repair. Is that my 30,000? I'm sorry, I'm trying to follow the line. Okay.
Can't see this one.
So that's budgeted for any equipment repairs that we would need in that big maintenance agreement. That is Motorola and the CAD combined, which all of those agencies use. So, and then 18,000, equipment rental. What is that rental? That's the tower, isn't it? No, that's not the tower.
through here, I'd have to go pull my other documentation, but this is where we talked about the fact we have to rent a tower in Scotts
Right.
Bluff and the other agencies said it was not part of the, maybe I have a wrong line on it, you guys,
I don't think that that's equipment rental, because we don't have any.
I think the only rental we have is tower rent.
Right, and
pretty
we'd have to
reasonable.
look at our notes, so.
Yeah, we'd have to look at the notes. And then the statewide radio project, some of the agencies, and you probably could explain it better for the which one, but some of them, did not purchase those radios outright. They leased them, and so they pay a separate amount to come in
Is
for
that
that one.
military or military? or
Lyman,
Yeah,
Mitchell
Lyman.
and Moore
Okay.
is who's handling that, and so we pay, the money comes into here, 85,447. Oh, gosh. Get right up, well, actually, I pay around 82,691, and then we pay it back out to Motorola. The discrepancy is the interest we had to pay on that Motorola lease between July 1 and September 15 on a $6 million lease. It's a couple thousand a year that the agencies are helping us pay to. Along with their leasing, I have to show you the paperwork. Okay,
We
but
paid everything off, wasn't there just a couple million left over?
yes, but everything was due July 1. They let us pay everything off because they almost didn't. Yeah, they almost didn't, but they let us, since it was an ARPA project, at least that's what we called it for us.
Right.
They let us pay our bulk amount in September, but we are still paying interest for that 2-month period. Through this lease, through the lease with the others. That's just how it kind of goes. Okay, that's first step. So we talk about our budget and what county is responsible for the comm center. Then there's these pieces of expenses that we are also responsible for. Then we have the 2913 fund. And this fund is totally supported by,
911 surcharge
Now, is that a whole different
on
fund altogether that we're not seeing?
yeah, I haven't even brought it out because we don't even,
This fund can only pay for certain items. They actually have a list of things that this can cover.
Okay. On what?
The state 911 board,
and that's
Is
your
that-
public service.
Okay, they've eliminated that. You can buy anything with that money. Anything.
But anyways, the public service money.
Public service money can be spent for anything. That increased as much.
Well, we get $111,600.
that is the letter that they sent, and the letter that they sent still had their limitations included with it this year,
Right.
so
There's no limitations on it.
Can you get us a copy of that letter and then we'll know,
I would.
Yeah.
I already talked to the guy that writes the letter.
right? But let's get the copy of the letter and see what we got in our possession.
And this fund started with 13,000. We know we're gonna get 111,000, so we go and this sends her to her APCO training that she goes to, and
Any trainings that we do, we're paying through this account.
And those,
Our EFD, EPD is paid through this account, our EMD was paid through this account.
I don't know what those are,
So what's the county,
Emergency medical dispatch,
Right.
okay? And that,
medical protocols was paid through this fund.
then did we send people to go to those or
We
was that
trained
done
them
in-house?
We had
Okay,
people from Dallas
And they-
come over.
and so we could use some of that money to pay our in-house trainers or whatever you
Right.
did.
We can't use it to pay the train, well, I don't know if you could use it to pay the trainer, to be honest.
We got to
I-
keep
I
the
will have to
money
check.
though.
But we kept the money.
We
I mean,
kept the money,
well, we had to pay for the books. The
okay?
books are $99. If we send someone off somewhere else to the class, it's $479 plus travel, meals.
The main,
$99 was
So it was a $99. The remainder of that we got to keep in this fund.
okay, and that allows us to use it for whatever, I'm gonna say. You're gonna, I mean, it's in our fund. You're saying that there is some specific things that we have to use it on.
Yeah, I'd say they'll give you a list.
When you talking about the 911?
The next
Yeah.
gen 911.
It's all
So-
changed in July.
We need to see your letter, okay? And not this minute, but we need to see it.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's where that public service
And-
money is, and I was asked that question. We used to have another fund, but I won't even muddy the waters because they had to spend it out last year.
They
That,
did.
the
They
legacy
did.
money or
The
something.
legacy, and they don't have that, they don't let you roll that over into that anymore. You just keep it in this one and spend as you go.
Okay.
The other account, the 2914 is completely empty.
There's your $111,600. It's this fund.
It is in there.
It's 111.
Okay.
600.
Clear as mud, I'm sure, Russ. But
No,
yeah,
I
we've been
understand.
focusing on the property
I
tax
just-
dollars,
Just on a different page.
basically, yeah.
Oh, I know.
I get, glad we could answer it.
Yeah,
So,
appreciate it.
Cause
Yeah.
that's what he was looking through the revenues, and he's like, where is this money?
But do we still match, do we still add money to this fund, Lisa? So this is money that comes in and then we use it for whatever. But it doesn't show as revenue. How come it's not showing as revenue on, we don't even see that fund? Why is that fund not showing as a revenue account when we're doing?
What is it?
Because it's a
revenue right there?
separate fund and it doesn't involve any property tax dollars. When I'm presenting to you, all I'm focusing on is that property tax.
But if it's
question.
if it's money that's generating for the county, that's county money, it still should, whether it's tax money going out or money coming in, we should still be looking at it.
Well, you sure could. I mean, I think we
Well,
need
but
about,
if we
I'm gonna
don't know
tell you,
about
we
it-
need another couple, 3 days of budget discussions to go
But
through
it-
every fund.
It's under, I thought I seen, yeah, revenue summary, right? Isn't
It's
it?
here,
It's
it's
in the
just not-
revenue area there.
but he's just saying is nothing we've discussed because
It's not-
it's not property tax asking.
You
So
don't have
It
any
ha-
control over it anyway.
So let's be sure, well, yeah, and there's some difference of opinion on that as to whether they have to be spent on certain things or whether it's a free-for-all. We
Just
don't
changed
know,
2 months ago. Just
but
changed.
we need to know that for sure.
I had a conversation with the state last month, and we were talking about, could I still pay salaries out of this account? And I was told that it is specifically salaries, not benefits, that I am not allowed to pay benefits out of this account, which is one of the things that's listed out on that form, on that paper that I received. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Did you
Yeah, I think-
receive anything,
No, it's fine.
Cindy?
Yes.
Did you receive anything saying that this was changed in July?
No, I did not. I received what I could spend this
You got-
money on with the same
So you got no
letter
notification of
that
it?
told me how much I would
Of
be
the change.
receiving.
So we're gonna figure that
We'll
out.
figure it out.
Because
I
you're
think
gonna
we're
get us a
looking into
copy, and then Russ may need to get a copy of a letter that says otherwise. And, but let me be sure of this, which I think is the case. That money comes into us. How do they pay us that?
it must be direct deposited. I don't know that she gets a,
They give us
Okay.
11,000.
Right it- right
It's a
into the
di-
treasurer's office.
It's a direct deposit monthly, is what I understand. They pay it out monthly,
Every month except June.
okay?
In June, we do not get one.
That's right.
Okay, so they pay it out monthly, and ultimately, that money is used to help offset some tax asking money,
It
ultimately.
was established for training originally.
Was it
So,
established for training? I don't know that.
Originally, I wasn't in the state at that time. I don't know.
but ultimately, it helps offset our tax asking number.
So that does change that number. So it should be
It
brought
ultimately
forward.
does.
I mean, it's expenses that we're paying out of here that aren't in the fund that is tax asking.
Right, and if it wasn't in this fund, it would be on the side for additional tax asking, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think I understand.
And when I give you the final budget, you'll have a copy of that too. So maybe that's where I know it's overwhelming. We have so many funds.
Yeah, this is a really complicated.
Because you're split up into at least 3 major categories
Yeah,
here, it seems to me.
no, because then you have, a special projects fund, you have, a HIDA fund, you have, or just different, we have lots of things we haven't discussed, but the money comes from other sources.
And that money certainly is part of the 911 part of the fund. Because the
It's
state's interest here is the 911 service, I think. They're trying to support that.
and it's only used for 911 expenses. Is that kind of where you're going with that? I mean,
Well,
expenses
not
dedicated.
particularly, but it's part of our 911, and they're giving it specifically for 911 purposes, I believe.
Education, training, purchase of equipment, anything that is directly connected to 911.
Right. It's
is
not,
how it was originally explained before I saw.
And that's one of the emphasis they're putting on, is the PSAPs across the state.
they're not,
You're getting a lot of attention.
If you don't, yeah, if you're not a PSAP and you don't answer 911, you do not get this fund. You have to be an actual PSAP, public safety answering point, 911 for the state. So I was trying to not
that's
do
where the
that.
money,
Yeah.
the
You're all
money gets
good.
split up to those type of entities. Okay, I think, yeah, that was new information that, I wasn't aware of before, and, so, appreciate that, but we do need to look at that letter that Russ is talking about, and if
I'm
we-
thinking I have it.
if we have different regulations, we need to know about it.
I think it might be on mine.
Either way,
If it
we-
says you're restricted, you need another letter.
Well,
Say
but,
what?
I said, if it's saying you're restricted, you're gonna need another.
but it's
letter.
restricted for 911 uses.
It's 911
Right.
usage, but it can be spent for anything in 911, labor, anything.
so we need to confirm that.
We need to.
We
But
don't-
you can't go and pay roads or anything.
Okay.
Not what it's intended.
Yeah, we absolutely agree.
Can't go to,
with that.
it's not supposed to go to the general fund, it's supposed to go.
Yes, it's set aside here.
All right. So Russ, I know that you wanted to bring up the, communication part of this. So does that, cause you to want to say any more about this, or?
Well, I still think we're paying way too much overtime. Looking at that overtime, we got $100,000 overtime. 10% of what your total wages are. It's a lot of overtime. 100,000 in
What
overtime.
is my overtime?
I'm sorry. It was high last year.
If I was paying that much for overtime, I'd be finding another way.
And she is. We learned today, what it's fully staffed, she's 21 people and currently has 14. You're gonna have an overtime issue for a while. Till we get people trained up that we're bringing on our
We have two in training.
two entry.
You,
Two in training.
you gave us a number, and I don't know if you remember that number earlier when we first met. On your calls, what you have, what your call volume,
100,000 a year.
100,000 a year.
Yes, sir.
So you're at 8,000 to 9,000 a month.
You need to come in and visit.
And you go down there, and they're busy folks over there.
That's 8,300 calls.
And
How
they,
many lines?
8,300.
14 lines coming in?
8,300 a month.
She said 14 different lines and they're dispatching for how many
That's,
agencies?
What is your concern? Other than overtime?
The overtime's my biggest concern. It's a big deal.
Well,
So-
but
I
you
mean,
don't have
we're
anybody.
spending taxpayer dollar, we're spending 1.5 times what we should be spending when we need to put some people. Why are the people not staying?
I think that's the discussion we had when she first came up here. Well, she needs to add about 5, 6 people.
And
She knows that and hasn't been able to do it, basically, is what she's
we
telling me.
only have so many people that can train. We have to put them with a trained trainer in order to do that. And that trained trainer has to have a certain level of experience in order to be able to become a trainer. And if we hired 5 people, but we only have 3 trainers, we only have 3 people that meet the criteria to be a trainer, we can't take those 5 people and double them up, because it's just gonna take double the time to get them trained. So we can only hire or bring on as many new employees at one time as we have trainers for them to sit with.
Explain that to me, how that takes twice as long to train when you train 2 people.
If one person is taking care of 2 people, one is always sitting back watching while the other one is being trained. So they're having to split the time. You can't put one person at this console, one at this console, and have one person watching what they're doing independently. If you go to doing that, they're gonna start acting on their own without the knowledge and the skill sets that they need. And you're just increasing the liability to the county whenever you do that. Because they're gonna make an action that they should not have made.
Yep.
And where it may get caught and it may not get caught. It depends on what this other person is doing, and that trainer's focusing here, and they don't see what happens back here. So they can only one person be training at a time with that person. So you're just rotating them out, and it's taking twice as long because it's two people for the same amount of
And
time.
it's
So are
that way,
Go ahead.
it's that way in law things. When I was an air controller, my trainer, it was a one-on-one at all times.
It has to be.
Because you can't split and trade. And same problem, liability issues.
Well, again, it's been a long time since I've been in those areas, but I do find it hard to believe that it's a one-on-one training for 5 months.
Well,
That seems
well,
ridiculous. to
there
me.
is a lot more that they're doing that they didn't do in the old days.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
The medical
Medical
part
thing alone
is a big
is,
part.
yeah, the medical thing alone is a
Medical
big part of
of
it.
it. But you also, you're trying to, these are people that they haven't been in a lot of the situations, right? The average person will call 911 one time in their life. And so that means that their trainings would be one time. That's the only experience that they're gonna have to have knowledge base of. So we have to give them the knowledge base, and they have to go all through these different types of calls. If they take a call and someone's holding a gun to their head, and they're gonna commit suicide, they just became a negotiator.
Right.
And now they have to negotiate with this person and keep them alive while they also dispatch someone to go save them. And then they have to listen to the radio, to answer the radio while that responder is on the way, when they get there, where they're staged at, because it's more than just one person going to that type of call. And they have to learn how to do all these things while maintaining a calm so that they can deal with this person that they still have on the phone that's still wanting to kill themselves.
Yeah,
It's a lot. It's not just
yeah.
picking up the phone and then sending somebody there.
I don't
There's a
think
lot
we
of
fully
negotiation.
understand what goes on down there, to be honest with you.
That's why I said I wish that
I-
everybody would come and sit and watch.
Well, I for one, I'm trying to spend more time down there, and I'm learning. I'm learning how things go. But I don't think the average person really understands
They don't, because
what it
again,
takes to do that.
one time that you will call 911 in your life.
Yeah.
On average. That doesn't mean, maybe
And
I've
if
called
you,
3,
and
but
if you have a situation going on, that dispatcher has to stay with that officer through the process. And just like
but they're
ambulance,
also dealing with other officers doing
Right.
other things at the exact same time.
and just like when they call an ambulance someplace, especially if it's a place where there's been violence or shooting or death, that ambulance crew just doesn't roll in there. They have to get clearance from the dispatcher that the scene is secure before they can legally and safely go in there. So it's a lot more complicated in the old days.
Right, and if we're not, if we're not telling them to stage and to stay back and to wait, it's not safe.
Yeah, that,
That's another liability issue. I mean, it's not just on the side of the public, there's liability with all of the responders as well.
it's not just black and white, and it's not just numbers. There's more that goes with it. When we concern ourselves with the large amount of overtime, the overtime is there because you don't have anybody to sit at the console.
Right.
So somebody else has to come in, and they're gonna get overtime for doing that. Until you get somebody to sit there,
I'm the only one that can work and not incur overtime whenever I get called in. I'm the only person in my whole department that won't incur overtime.
So-
And if you want me to be here during the day, I can't be in and work a 12-hour shift at night and then come back in and work during the day.
So what I'm, seeing here and hearing here, I think, is, you would love to put that money up into the regular salary communication line.
I'd like to see
You would love to,
I would love to.
but from a realistic standpoint, you
I
have
have
put it
not
into
done it.
overtime. And frankly, whether it's, the fact is,
I mean, I'll
if you
move it
can
up
do it,
there if you'll let me use it down here where I need it.
Well,
I don't need it
you're
anymore.
gonna- yeah, what I see is that in those line items, especially regular time versus overtime, those can move freely, can't they?
Mhm.
Right, so that can move freely. So
Anytime.
as she's trying to put people into regular time, then she can move some of those overtime dollars up into regular time.
She should
And I
have
think
enough
that's the
regular
goal
time-
for all
She should
of
have
us.
enough regular time budgeted in that, it's just that there's a lot of seeing.
There
To
is.
compensate, to
And
make
there-
that all
and there-
happen,
and
that's
there
what I'm
will
saying.
be a
Cause
lot
there
of
should be
overtime.
enough money in the top end to make it work, but we're paying
If we
a
have enough
half again
people,
more.
if we have enough people, and right now, we don't.
I agree.
24/7 agency.
I hope in,
I haven't budgeted, I did not budget from July until when I can start hiring again, when I have people come out of training and I can start hiring again, at the first of October, first to mid-October. I did not budget salaries for the open positions that I have. I started budgeting those positions in October when I will be hiring someone.
the other solution to all this, though, that you mentioned, was these, out-of-town people, right?
Mhm.
And so that's an answer to this whole thing, to
It can
me,
be.
at least with the dollars you were talking about, that, that's a, potential of a big solution to this, possibly.
And right now, we have.
How many people are you getting for 30 grand?
2, 3, but it will be 2 at one time. One will
Right.
rotate, so that
So
one can go home.
Half of
another
what we
one
pay
comes-
a full-time dispatcher,
Is that right?
and these people are trained. The only thing they need to be brought up to speed on is what's happening here locally. But other than that, as far
Are
as
they
all the
certified
things,
in the state? I mean, are they
Yeah.
state certified?
yeah, they have to be. They have to be. The only thing that they're being brought up to speed with is our local
How we
area.
do it.
Or whatever it is.
They have- they
So
have
some,
to learn
so if somebody
geography,
calls
they
and
have to
says,
learn policy.
there's a wreck at Starcher's Corner, obviously they're not gonna know where Starcher's Corner is, cause they don't live here.
Right.
But
But they
yeah.
know to ask more questions or go to their list
Yeah.
and say, do I have that as a landmark that I can reference to?
I have one more question on the calls. You said you have 100,000 calls. How many of those are 911 calls and how many are like 4-6 or the 666? Are you putting them all together in the 100?
Yes, that is everything in mind. 911
Yeah.
and non-emergency.
So would we say then that the 1.1 million in regular salaries, that number would include a full staff at regular time?
Starting in November or October.
So you're
I-
not, there's some months that you know is gonna already be
Right,
out.
I'm already short from July to October, and I did not
And you-
add that into
Okay.
this number.
But then after, I mean, from that point forward,
Yes.
you're basically, figuring it as if you had a full staff.
Yes,
Okay, I understand that. So, obviously, you've heard here, and it's for every single department all over the courthouse, and that's that if we can pay regular time, we want to pay regular time versus overtime.
I only laugh
And
because
I
she's
think-
having some issues with people understanding that concept.
Right. And
Right.
if
Right
it's, well, that would be our concern, if we have people not understanding that concept, and if we have the backup people to put in their place, then that's certainly a, board, recommendation, it's a
Thumbs up.
board policy, it's personnel
Yeah, yeah.
policy,
Well,
it's
you put that,
policy all the way through, and if they don't understand that, then at some point in time, someone like Lisa and or Ken, who's the liaison from this group, may need to say it a little more clearly,
we're making attempts to do
let-
that.
right, and loudly,
As
so
we
that
speak.
they understand that, but that's not easy to say when you don't have enough people.
exactly, and yeah, you get that much overtime, you're also dealing with
I'm
people.
limiting it as much as I can limit it,
Mhm.
but I still have to have 24/7 coverage.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, and
Every one of those desks need to be occupied, and if you don't have the people that are willing to to come in at regular time, you're gonna pay overtime. It's just, and I'm not gonna sit here, Mike and I have worked in this a long time. And I understand what you're doing, not 100%. I don't know how, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how your operation works. I'm getting better at it. But understanding what the need is, and if that need is not met, the liability that we put this county in, because we didn't have somebody there, the call wasn't answered, it wasn't answered correct, whatever it is. It's a big responsibility, and I don't know that everybody understands the responsibility that these folks have. I really don't. And somebody mentioned about keeping people there. You're working in a basement. You're handling everybody else's issues. Every call, not every call, a majority of the calls are coming in is somebody's issue, somebody's emergency, whatever. After a while, it's gonna get to you, and it takes the right person to do that. And if you're not that right person, then they're gonna go someplace else. They think it's something glamorous, and it's not. It really isn't. And you gotta have a certain personality, you have to have a certain means of, especially on the medical end of it, to be able to calm yourself down and say, okay, start compressions now, don't, or whatever the case. You've got somebody's lives in your hands. And it's not just pick it up, answer the call, and dispatch a fire truck or a policeman. It goes way beyond that, way beyond that. And I don't know that everybody understands that. That's the thing. As I say,
But there are times when we are strictly a counselor,
oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Someone calls their spouse has passed away, their child has passed away, and all
I
we
know.
are is just
Yeah.
to keep
Someone to
them on
talk
the
to.
phone.
Yeah, someone to
Until
talk to.
someone gets there so that they
I know.
don't lose it, but those things even take a hard toll on you.
Oh, there's no
Whether
doubt.
whether it's the really, really bad call or just, or something like that, it still has an effect.
I deal with that in my office. When I answer the phone, about 1 in 150, I have to deal with that.
You become a
Somebody
counselor.
just needs a talk,
I know.
Yeah.
And my wife, I about fired her over the whole deal when she was on the phone for 20 minutes with someone like that. But
Yeah, but if that's out way out in the county.
I know, you gotta be
somewhere,
careful.
then
It's sensitive,
We are
but it's,
on the phone that long, and then it causes other people to become overwhelmed. It's,
Yeah,
it's,
I really
It's a
don't
big
think people
moving beast.
fully appreciate and understand what's happening down there. That's all I'll say about that.
We had an incident just this last week where a lady called, another lady called me about another lady who had an issue. And so I told her to call 911. She had a visiting relative that had mental health issues, decided he's going to leave and commit suicide. And so I calmed her down. I called this lady, I calmed her down, and I said, call 911. And the thing was resolved very well. He was located, he was safe, but they get that kind of stuff.
And times have changed.
Yeah,
I can remember back in the days in the fire department, we answered our own calls.
right.
It would ring loud, you'd get up in the middle of the night and answer a call and respond or whatever you needed to do. We didn't have the capability of push the button and bring a police officer with us, or push another button and have an ambulance. And things have changed, society has changed. The people that live here now are much different than 30 years ago, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the days, I don't wanna say it was easy, a lot easier than what it is
We
today.
had less volume of
Oh,
situations.
there's no doubt, absolutely no doubt. But I think this traveling thing is going to help. It's going to relieve some of that overtime issue, hopefully,
Yeah.
if all goes well.
And I met and talked with one yesterday. I'm very impressed with her.
I did get it, I need to do, I haven't
I
been over
think
there
she's
yet,
gonna.
dealing with other stuff.
she's amazing. She, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
She very much impressed me.
Good.
Thanks, Cindy. Are you good with Cindy?
I don't have any more questions.
I think I'm fine with Cindy. I got confidence in what you can do.
Okay, thanks, Cindy.
Darla, I seen that, Judge Dober Maloney was here.
Yeah.
Was there something that he wanted to communicate?
Make sure that
Okay. I thought maybe he had some more things to offer or something. I didn't want to miss out on that.
I apologize. He wanted me to ask, he wants his bailiff to get a 50% raise.
Well, that wasn't the offer I thought that
Oh,
he
it's
would
not-
be offering.
Are they interested in being a part-time dispatcher?
Yeah, there you go.
We have our own fires to put out.
He does a lot for overtime. I think you could take that down. There's, anyway.
Wasn't, the goal there is that we're hope that that number will decrease and,
Oh, this is district judges I'm
oh,
looking at now.
I thought you meant.
Yeah.
still
No,
on-
I'm looking at theirs, cause anyway,
Of course,
they don't hardly have overtime, but they put in overtime.
And
Well-
overtime will come when we have jury trials, for the most part.
We just don't have any.
Yeah, to say, so far,
Are
that's
we
not an issue.
It was just a
are we
thought. I don't know.
questioning anything on this?
I question everybody, so
Oh.
I don't think it's necessary, cause they used $300 2 years ago.
If we have a jury that goes into the night, the bailiff has to stay. And I believe that's the reason for that.
Okay, so this is one that you wanted us to look at.
No, you asked about Dover Pony, I pulled
Oh.
up the budget.
I only
So,
asked because he was
'cause-
here.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he had
They
something to
have a lot
offer.
of, this could happen, and we have to put this in if, they put in furniture. They didn't really have a reason.
Did he take out the furniture?
No, we didn't make him take out anything. I guess maybe there's 5,000, so.
If you guys would want to come over to the courthouse, we have aged things. Not learning how to do equipment, and so I don't think it's unreasonable to have something in there for carts, because we use carts and we move them all the time, and we have, dismissal.
That's what, we just gotta use what we have. There's like 2 or 3 new desks out there.
They're out at the sheriff's, that big horse barn, that's full of equipment, chairs and desks. and
Exactly.
All sorts of stuff. Ever been out there? You guys, everybody should go out there and see what's there and see. if you-
And a lot of it's
Things you
really
can use.
good. It's good, it's
Good
good,
stuff.
it's good stuff.
It's damn good stuff.
It's just,
Should be
it's
used.
just
Somebody should
excess
use it
stuff.
If they got need for it. There's a lot of it out there.
No,
And
they
I-
might-
You
Yeah,
just keep stacking more in.
and I told you, the aging office has file cabinets and other stuff that they, okay,
We
but
have
I
like-
don't know what you need, but there are other
We have
people out there.
38.
I was just saying, sometimes things break.
Sure they do.
Yeah, I say chairs, absolutely, you can have good chairs.
Yeah,
Don't plan for it, Darla, just have to adjust budgets later.
Borrow from somebody.
Lisa, can we look at, well, and I guess we'd have to
I
look
guess
at,
that's a goal.
on the county attorneys. Did he budget to hire another attorney, or did he pull that out?
He wants 5.
He had her pull one of them
He
out.
had-
We
yeah,
pulled
he
one
put
out
it
yesterday.
5, he said Masterton told him we could have 5, well, Masterton ain't here anymore.
Well, he
I don't know what
pulled
that-
one.
I don't
he
remember
pulled
that,
one
but
I
out.
remember playing.
He pulled one out.
Right,
That's what he told me.
Yesterday.
And you took that money out, right?
right.
But
I
he
did.
still has the ability to hire another one, is that correct, or 2, or whatever it is that he's
I
asking
think
for?
one more, he's got 2 right now, so he can
Okay.
hire 2 more.
He can hire 2 more, is that what
Well,
it
he's
is?
got one in there already, and he's
Okay.
hiring him at $90,000 a year. So he might be able to fit another one in there.
I visited with him just briefly before he came over, and he was
Mhm.
concerned that we were gonna pull that out of there. He said, if I can't hire attorneys, I can't operate. He said,
Right.
I'm down so low right now. So he wanted to make sure that, and that's why I was asking whether that was left in there. 'Cause I
If
couldn't
he,
remember.
if he
I
found,
couldn't-
if he hired 2 people right now, he'd be hurting. If he could hire them today. But that's an if, and he just had someone bail out. That's why we adjusted yesterday.
Okay,
And so,
but that came from him. He's the one that said you could pull that, correct? Okay.
my understanding was he was gonna hire one, which would bring him up to 4, but he wasn't gonna have the money in there to be 5, is what I
Yeah.
thought he
Yeah, I think
what
so.
I understood.
He's getting rid of a contract labor.
That's what we.
He's getting rid of the contract.
Okay. And so that part-time is under the contract labor line, is what you're saying?
No,
Oh.
he's got a part. He also has one attorney under child support,
Right, that's his
There.
highest paid one.
97,000, and yeah, he's got a couple of attorneys. And who's his contract? Right there. He knocked it down to 10,000 because I don't think he's going to contract with that person anymore. Pays him $3,000 a year,
So
or
it is-
excuse me,
A month.
a month.
So it is down there in, it's
That's-
certainly not up in personnel.
That's the contract labor
Right.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting, but he was hoping to hire somebody that isn't coming now. And he has another one on the line, is what I'm understanding, so he should be sitting pretty good at 153.
The thing that sticks, and I don't know whether it was last year or year before, we were discussing his workload, and the larger county had 100 in some cases, and he had 800.
We have way too good a sheriff's department.
Well, but I mean, his point was, is that, you know, we look at other counties that have more money and are doing more things, but they don't have the workload that he's got here.
Well, we got all these people out of Colorado
They're
coming
coming right
up
through here.
and they bring all that stuff through.
Come up here, darling.
I will tell you that affects my office as well.
Mhm.
So they don't have the prosecutors to prosecute all of their incoming criminal cases. And that drops my numbers because they're not prosecuting, they're not pushing them through the courts. And I'm not gaining revenue from that.
I brought that up the other day with him and he denied it.
Well, my suspicion is whatever revenue
But-
you get, we save in some other areas of it.
Absolutely, absolutely, but it's cause and effect. If
Right.
he's full staffed, the numbers that they could carry effectively and push through the system would be higher.
It seems to me that what I see happening is we plead more cases out, we make them a whole lot simpler and easier rather than going to trial.
Well, and that's also on the public defenders
Right.
and our local council as well.
Oh, actually, it filters all the way down. We've had this discussion in jail. You know, why some folks end up in jail for minor things and whatever, if they could do something different, so we're not paying that $100 a day for our locals. And that's, so it.
I will tell you, I've seen an uptick in cases that we're sending sending east for competency hearings.
Right.
So that comes back.
Yeah, we have a
County
behavioral
paid.
health issue,
Well,
and that's
that
what
mental,
causes that.
We do.
you know, we talked about communications and this, and we've talked about several different issues that deal with mental health. And part of what you said was, we're dealing with a different people than what we dealt with 40 years ago.
Different
Yeah.
society.
And it's a little different, and I don't know
It's way
Yeah.
different.
where's
We have
that,
very strong clients.
where's that coming from, and
Yeah.
how do we
I think
deal
Dave,
with that?
I think Dave's office has a ton of work they just can't get through because they don't have the attorneys to
Right.
work those.
I know for a while they're able to mess with misdemeanors in the county,
Able to what?
misdemeanors.
Oh,
So
all right. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Darla.
So, from a commissioner standpoint, well, we still haven't dealt fully with,
We talked about doing that later on, right?
clerks.
That's what we talked about. We'll just do that later.
Well, the budget part we need to do now.
The budget part's right there. If we save anything, we got enough to cover everything in there right now. The only thing we don't have is a COLA, and that's what we've got to negotiate these finer things out if we're gonna do a COLA. There's no money for a COLA.
I already decided not to.
Well, that was my suggestion. So Robert wants to speak.
Be brief. So, just want to, I think the board's going to talk about this anyway, but I think it's a rather important thing. When we put together our 25-26 budget, and I say we, that's all of the officials and appointed people that have budget responsibilities, we were instructed to not budget for any COLAs, no cost of living increases whatsoever. And I think everybody towed the line I think everybody did that. And I think that's a good place to start. I know last year, me personally, I turned mine in without it, and then what it would look like with a COLA increase. Over the last couple days, it's very apparent that there are going to be COLA increases for those 3 areas that have a union. So the comm center, the sheriff, the detention center. They're going to get a cost of living increase.
Well, we haven't fully approved it, but.
It sounds like it's going that way.
Highly probable.
Right. And I don't begrudge any of those 3 areas whatsoever, okay? And I'm speaking to you about this, not because it affects me, because it doesn't. Official salaries and their deputies are dictated by resolution, and it's separate. But I think somebody needs to talk on behalf of the other 50, 60% of the employees in the county that are potentially going to get 0 cost of living increase. I know life's not fair, but they feel like that is not fair, and I think they're right. So, having said that, I would like the board to consider giving those other employees a cost of living increase. They deserve it. They really do.
And
They work hard day in and day out.
how many employees did you say? Or did you just say 50%?
Yeah, I don't know what the number is, but I bet more than half of them are not in those 3 areas that would not be getting a COLA.
Because at the jail, it's what, 70 people, and at sheriff's office is 30 probably, and. Yeah.
14, whatever.
So maybe half,
125, so about half. Or so.
call it half.
So that's what you said.
Yeah, so yeah,
50%.
roughly in that neighborhood. You know, I obviously, and the other officials do too, we see the work that they do every day. We understand what's required of them. They are very diligent in their work. I think they're dedicated to their work. And I think that if the board doesn't consider giving them a COLA, it's kind of a slap in the face. I know that the board, and I understand, you know, budgetary requirements. You know, I do know that the board has more authority than what they're currently using for budget purposes.
We do. We absolutely do, and I'm not spending it all.
And I understand that.
Okay.
I'm not asking you to spend it all.
Well,
I'm asking you to be fair and consistent across your county employees.
and
That's what I'm asking.
I'll understand that argument,
Be fair and consistent. That's all I'm asking.
because one of the other things that I'm a believer in, and that's that those people that aren't part of the union and aren't part of the continual union process and whatever, that those people, I like to take care of them.
That's
okay?
right.
And I didn't say don't give them one. I just said where the money would come from.
Yeah, the
Your
problem,
budget.
the problem is, we were told up front
Yeah.
to not put in a COLA increase. And then yesterday, you said, oh, you can give them an increase, it's based on out of your budget. Well, we didn't put it in there because we were told not to, Mr. Harris.
Well, I understand. to
So
the
that's a
extent-
contradiction.
If I thought that your budget was just the bare bones down to the last dollar and you couldn't spare one more penny, I'd be working with you on that. But I don't believe that. I don't believe it in yours, and I don't believe it in any of the rest of them.
I think that and again, I don't begrudge the departments with unions. They have a voice. The rest of our employees do not have a voice unless they're officials and they're appointed managers come up here and say what I'm saying. So it's really important to them, and it's a slap in their face if when they look around and see other county employees getting a raise, getting a cost of living increase. We all know that the cost of living, food, transportation, living expenses, they've all gone up. And I understand that we have a limit on the amount of money that we can spend, but we need to do the right thing for our employees.
And
That's all I'm asking.
again, and it isn't like the cost of living is the only increase they get, because that's not true. At least 50% of them will probably get some kind of step increase. 50% of those 50% that you're talking about. Wouldn't that be true?
Yes, many of them will get a step increase, but certainly it doesn't make up for any type of cost of living. When you're comparing a 2% step increase to an 11% cost of living increase in one of these departments, that's a big difference.
Which much, 11% cost of living?
It was mentioned yesterday that the comm center was getting 11% cost of living increase. And again, I don't begrudge them. They probably deserve it. I'm sure they do.
No, it wasn't a cost of living increase, it was a comparability study increase, wasn't a cost of living increase.
Well, that's basically the same thing, Mr. Harris. Are you giving them a raise?
It's not exactly the
You're
same.
giving them a raise. Yeah.
And the reason that we would be doing it is because of a comparability study.
Do
It's
you
not
do
because
you
of
do the
cost of
same
living.
thing with every other department on a comparability study?
Well, we certainly did it just a couple years ago when we had the Paul Epson study, and we did it for everybody.
We raised everybody, I mean, well,
Right,
yeah,
we
some of them
absolutely
should've went
did that.
down, but we left them alone.
Yeah, some went down.
No, they were supposed to go, we
But,
didn't deduct.
You know, I don't know about years past. I'm just talking about now. And I don't want to get crossways with
Well,
the
that
board.
was 2 years ago. And so at that point, we brought everybody up to what, would have been considered comparable.
And has the cost of living increased over the last couple of years? I'm assuming it has, or you wouldn't have had that comparability study that you just got for the comm center. So,
This is our first year that we've dealt with the cap on our mill levy.
I understand that.
And so we're trying to figure it out.
I understand that. I understand the nuances. I understand the difference between a lid and a cap, trust me.
I went through it.
But all I'm saying is that I think, you know, all of us have a responsibility to our employees. They're the ones that serve our community day in and day out. And it's hard for us to get good employees, especially at some of the salaries we start people at. When you have the sugar factory starting people out much higher than I do in assessment tech,
Or 18,
18 or 1850.
I think it's 1850.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't want to get crosswise. I don't want to be, you know, come across as demanding. I think that my recommendation is take it into consideration, gentlemen. I think it's important. I think it's important to your employees. They deserve it. So that's all I've got.
Okay.
Thank you.
That,
We have a total value of what 1% costs, what 2%.
she gave it to us
gave it to us.
yesterday.
I gave it to you today.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, no, I didn't see it on this.
Is this sheet right there?
1% is reflected at the top, and then below it's, you'll see 2%, I can go pull it up on my spreadsheet, 2%, 2.5%, 3%. Salary equivalent, C would be, and then you take FICA and retirement. And I divided it at the bottom by, it's for 9 months.
It would start with their October paycheck. Yeah, so for 2%, we would have to add $111,303 to our budget.
How much?
$111,303
It's on the
for a
bottom here.
2%.
2%.
We just need that out of that account. That's-
3%'s 166,000, 167,
167.
yeah. 167,000.
I think, you know, it's doable.
And we are, you know, keeping levy flat. What was our number? We're at
3.6.
So what if we move the levy up to where it was last year?
sorry, getting there. My worksheet does some strange things.
Remove the levy up, that would cover this.
It'd be about 46,000 more.
That's all.
But if we increase the levy, I think I have to get an exception going. And I would be at another $60,000, which is pretty, I mean, I showed you I could do that with the prior year expenditure thing that can roll forward.
And if you take all of that back, if that, Russ, if that levy goes up to what last year's is, the impact on a $100,000 hold, and we've used that before, is minimal. It really is.
I know, we're talking
Yeah,
tenths of cents here
I absolutely agree.
on the levy.
Well, let me just say one thing here, and that's that for the life of me, I cannot figure out how we get ourselves into this predicament at the end. How in the world can we do that? Can we not figure out if we're gonna pay a COLA and know what that is at the beginning and have these people build it into their budget? So we know where we're at when we get to the doggone end? I mean, what kind of sense does all this make?
It makes more sense to me to do it this way, because when I put it in, you put it in at the beginning, some do, some don't. We didn't have a percentage. You guys
No.
didn't say,
Right.
build in a 3%
I
COLA.
understand
So then
that.
I have it all over the place. So
They
don't
did-
get mad
they-
at me.
Well, I understand that's the
I-
way we've been doing it. I'm asking, can't we do it a better
There's
way in
gotta
the
be a
future?
better way to do it.
Well, we could have like not avoided like 4 days of budget hearings, right?
Right?
And we could have done that. I'm sorry, it's not all on me.
I'm not blaming
You are,
it all
I'm, you're
on
raising
you.
your voice at me and I'm taking offense,
Well,
okay?
I'm not happy with the approach that we end up taking on this. Here we come to the very end, we think we're done, and then we're really
Oh,
not.
but by the way, huh?
They did exactly what we told them to do, folks.
That's true.
We said, do not include a COLA
Right.
in your budget.
Right.
So now everybody went through their budget, and now at the end, we're saying, all right, are we gonna give a COLA or are we not? They did exactly what we asked them to do.
I don't remember that, but
I
it
don't
could have been.
remember that.
Yes.
It's true. And then Lisa gave you a
Wait a
breakdown
minute.
for
Probably
different
for-
possibilities. I don't know how much easier it could be than the way it got done, honestly.
Well, I think this is factual information, if that's what you're
No, but
suggesting.
like I said, some people were putting the COLA, some people weren't in previous years, and it was a mess. And then it goes
It
on
is a
long enough,
mess.
you prepare your
My-
budget
And-
and it's
and-
time to be heard and
And
you
here's
don't
the
even
other
remember
thing.
what you did.
If, and we talked about a 3%, $166,000. Okay, so you put that in somewhere along the line in this year, somebody's not going to spend all of their budget. All of that money is not going to be spent. A budget is a guess. And that's what it amounts. There are some things that we know for sure of what they're going to be, but the rest of it is a guess. We're hoping that we can get by spending this much money. I don't think this county is gonna go broke by putting in $166,000 for a minimal pay increase for our employees. And Robert, I agree with everything that you said, always have. But unfortunately, we've had years, like Mark said, where we had everybody's budget down to nothing. I mean, there was nothing. There was no pay increase and we laid off, I don't know, half a dozen people because the money just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. I don't think we're in that position this year, in my opinion. I may be all wet. I don't know, but you know, Russ, we've talked about this. We cannot continue to go, we're not gonna spend any more than we did last year. Well, that's wonderful.
I don't work.
As long as everything stays the same as it was last year. Well, it's not. It's not.
But
I
someday
agree
it'll
with you
change.
100%.
Our tax asking number is a small portion of the overall money that we spend.
In the county. The
We
schools
spend,
spend,
don't we spend $40 million?
What?
Don't we spend $40 million?
collect 40 million, do we spend,
We
collect
collect
40?
and spend $40 million.
Oh, that's our budgeted expenditures, yes.
Yeah, that's what
Somewhere
I
in that
thought. And so my point is, tax asking is $15 million. And my point to that is simply, there's other, places, other revenue sources sometimes. But obviously, it always comes back to,
But we're only getting,
tax asking.
tax ask is 18%, right, of what the county asks for. Out of the 100% that we ask for, we're getting 18% of that.
I think it's less than that, Russ.
I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
I
the
wasn't
schools are
listening to the
getting
question.
close to 79%.
I think it's less than that.
If you go look at you want me to go look at somebody's tax statement, we can look at that, is that what you're referring to, the
That's what I'm
breakdowns?
referring to.
Well,
But I mean, our
we're
end
about
is so small. we put
25%, I thought, but anyway, somewhere in that
You
neighborhood.
thought we were 25?
About 25
I
of the
think we're
total.
closer to 18, I think we're under.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's
yeah,
fine.
I
Of
do
the
too.
total
I think
tax
that
bill?
number's less than that.
You know what it
We
is?
had it once before.
Anyway.
That's close enough.
But anyway, even if it's 20, let's just take 20. When we increase our share of that 100% and only on the, add it to the 20% side, it's a very small fraction.
The,
My house is at 184.
the fact is, we can simply, take that tax levy and continue to raise it and raise it and raise it. And yes, it's true that for the last 7 or 8 years, we've lowered that tax levy.
And it should have really
And-
went lower this year with Robert raising all of those
Well,
valuations.
yeah, we have,
All those valuations.
we have how much more in valuation?
300 million. A little
Yeah.
over 300 million. We should have actually saw a reduction in the mill and on our part.
You don't have to tell me that.
Isn't that true? But we should have, but I don't, it's not coming out that way.
That assumes everything stays the same, and as Mr.
Pardon?
It would,
change, things change.
right, but we have valuation of 300,000 more,
300 million.
300 million more,
You have to realize you're also looking under a cap now.
Right.
right?
That isn't near as much fun as it used to be. And if we,
Do I remember wrong, or did you say that the county could go to 15? Not that we would, recommending
At least, we could go up even higher if we take more exceptions, it's just.
without taking exception.
I think we could, the 15,293 is. I'm sorry, I was trying to get that.
No, that's okay, I just remember that 15.
15.4 was including the 475,000 that she was using from the.
From the prior year's rollover.
Right.
Yeah.
That was
So,
where
I'm
the
sorry.
15.4 was coming in. It's actually 15,494, so about 15.5.
we're doing 15.2.
15,293, 15,3, basically. 7,000 short of
But
the,
we could go to 15.5.
exactly.
Well, could go to 15.6.
We should.
But we don't.
I
We choose not to.
know. Just trying to pay the
Well,
bill.
you can,
Yeah. we could.
you can actually do that. And then you're not gonna have the money to do projects that need to be done here, whatever else.
If
I'm gonna
that's
do
where
what
we
Kelly
choose.
said, there's always money in the reserve, we're just gonna use it.
No,
Kelly said?
no, I'll vote against that.
No, you can't vote again, we're gonna use it.
We have the means. We have the means.
Yeah, we
I don't
can.
know, I think.
And that's,
can
and you,
tax
and you brought it up
people to
before, Mark,
oblivion.
that's one thing you and I disagree.
We could disagree wholeheartedly on
All
that.
the time, yeah,
Right.
and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
But our fact
I
is,
don't-
our mill is still lower, our mill is still lower than it was. And I'm not seeing where the 300 million reflects back into that. It should boost us a lot more, we are, but we did raise the total ask. Jeff, how much did we raise the total ask?
The total,
From last year, what we asked for?
178, and we're still sitting right now at 15,247.
Right. A little over a million
So that's 1.2 million extra.
increase.
And that's all
About a
done
million more.
through the assessor's office by raising those values. And lowering the mill, we're still higher than we were. By even lowering the mill where we have.
Some things you don't have control over.
Agree with that. But we do have control. We could step that mill up where it's flat and we could cover all this up. We'll not change it isn't gonna change anything. And then whatever your valuations went up on your property. Now, what was our mill last, I don't have it.
My mill levy was
367.
.36741.
3.374. Right here.
367.
0.367.
Okay, and what are we shooting for this year?
This one is right here.
Keeping flat or a little less.
So if we kept it the same with our valuation increase, we could continue to pay our bills.
Say that again, Russ, I didn't hear the last part.
I said if we kept it flat, if we went to last year's levy at 0.367.
Right?
It would give us enough to pay those COLAs and get through this year, and it isn't, all it's gonna change is whatever your valuation went up on your personal property or your
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
If your house went up 10,000, that's the only increase you're gonna see, cause
Is that
your
what you're
bill's
looking
flat.
at? 2%? You're looking at
2%, what,
COLA.
I haven't looked that far yet, I'm trying to figure out how to get the money at the moment. See where we can be.
I'd rather see a 3%. That's my,
Well,
And I think that's appropriate.
I think 2 to 2.5, 2.5 is a good number.
A number we mentioned early on was 2.5.
I'm
What we
pretty good
asked
with
for
2.5.
was for budgets to be brought in at 2.5.
With this cap on here, it's sure changing things around, it's something I'm not used to. Lisa, are you used to it?
No, I'm not.
Me either.
It'll be interesting
not
to
even-
see, we just seen or some of us may have read that article that was on KNEB tonight about the new proposal about, that's gonna be probably brought up and voted upon.
Which is that, Mark? I'm not-
One that said, what, a 50% valuation cap and I don't know, you have to
Here,
go on
let me-
KNEB.
let
and
me
you
look
can
at,
look
let me look at
Is
that.
that what the governor proposed? I
But
read-
that's,
No, this is a separate group that's getting enough signatures on a petition to put it on the ballot.
That's a lot of pie in the sky, then it probably never.
that's just what I was gonna say.
It's-
That, we're so far away from that right now.
It's substantial cut.
We've
Yeah.
gotta deal with, we gotta
Well,
deal with tomorrow. with this.
My,
At this point,
steps
we do.
on the wage scales, 1 through 5 is a 2.5% increase. After 5, it's a 4%, and that's every other year. So even
Say-
if you did,
Say that again?
okay, my wage scale, 1 through 10, for everybody that's not in a union. Steps 1 through 5, they get, if they meet the criteria for the job and get a decent
step.
evaluation, what?
For the
Step increase, the steps are 2.5%.
Okay,
But after the 5th year, then your wage increases come every other year. Every other year, that's 4% increase.
averages 2 something.
Yeah, so that's where I'm like, even if if you can do a 2.5,
If you go 2.5,
the person would get the equivalent of
4.5.
4.5 year. That's just pointing that
For
out.
those that, yeah, got that. Can I interject one more thing? Sure.
you bet.
Just don't get me excited.
I will have you CPR.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Okay.
So that, I think certainly my position, I've already said that. I think we need to pay our employees right and recognize the fact that the cost of living doesn't go up. But I think maybe a middle of the road there is, obviously this doesn't affect the officials and their deputies. If we apply that also to the appointed managers, that it doesn't apply to them, similar to as you would to the elected officials, that would possibly cut down on your increases. So give it to the people, not to the managers. That's my point.
Give it to the exempt. Don't give it to.
Don't give it to the exempt is my
Right.
point.
What?
That's just an idea.
Did-
Because you're exempt, if you think about it from a appointed person, they're not elected, but they're managing a budget, they're running an office, just like an elected person does. So, who is some of our appointed people? Roads,
Me.
Normally you're not.
Right. Bill- transit.
BSO.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's a big number, but that's just a thought, because I think the importantest thing is for the people who are making $17 an hour, not the people making $70,000 a year. That's just a thought.
The elected officials, their increases were set
First steps.
3 years ago.
And you're gonna do that again in January for next year, but yeah, they're already set, it's not an
Their
additional.
increases are set.
by January.
Right, so we're not talking about those elected
You don't
Elected
have those in here,
officials,
Lisa.
we're talking about the other one,
You don't have
appointed
those in here.
officials.
Elected is in here.
There.
And I see you took out the, information system.
Now we don't, IT, we don't have an employee, firefight.
And you don't have sheriff's department, you don't have,
Nope.
Yeah, because they're union contracts.
yeah, right, you don't have relief, medical, and then health fund, I don't see the jail.
Because they're,
Their
well, they're
contracts.
down below, you have like 3 non-union people out there.
Oh.
Also cap property valuations at 3%.
Say it again.
But you got the detention
Part of that
center
program
funding.
is to cap property valuation increases at 3% or less.
That's part of that.
And that all sounds
And
good,
there's another.
but if you do that, where's the money coming from to pay the bills? Well, I don't-
Again, I
I
always
don't
say,
know.
and someone acts like it's some kind of unbelievably, absolutely, unattainable thought, but yeah, what if
Yeah.
you simply didn't have $2 million? What would you do? What would you do?
We'd have to start cutting some.
We would
wouldn't
start
We'd
dealing
try to
with it.
figure it out.
And that's all I say, and it certainly hasn't been that since I've been here and on this board, although some would suggest that it's different than that. We haven't got, I don't think, and maybe since I've been here, we've cut people, but I don't really remember that.
Yeah, we did.
Um,
Right, and they came
but-
from jail.
But I have been on other boards when we did cut.
I was on
When it
school
was
board
in
when I
the
rep teacher.
80s and things were tough, really tough. And we cut out a 7% of the workforce and said, we're not gonna spend any more than that. And that's what we did. And life went on. Wasn't what we really wanted to do, but it happened. And, so all I know is that, our process is to use the analogy that
Actually, short of-
we absolutely have to keep things as big as or bigger than what we're doing. And I don't see that being the
Drop
case.
that out, Kelly's back there for this year.
Obviously, I'm in the
Back over to that.
minority.
And I think you're not 100% wrong, Mark, but I think in the case of our department heads, our elected officials are really good about watching where the money's going. When we ask to make a cut, those cuts seem to be there, and we're still operating. You're still operating your departments.
But then,
Statute says that we have to give you enough money to operate your department, the elected officials. Whatever that is, I don't know. I'm not a micromanager. I don't know how many people you need in your office. You do. And it's up for you to convince us you become a politician come budget time, to convince us that this is how much money I need to operate my office.
if we're just
Whether it's-
politicians, we really don't need to be here. We're not business people, and can't figure
Well,
this
I know,
out. We can't work this thing out and figure
That's,
this
that's
out.
not what I said.
We're here to
What I said,
negotiate.
they
We're not
become
just
politicians to
Right.
convince us. That's not what I said at all, Wes.
Sorry, that's what I heard. I heard you say we're a bunch of politicians out here.
No.
Telling these guys what
No,
to do.
That isn't what I said at all.
Okay.
Not even close, but that's okay. But I think our folks do a really, really, really good job of watching what they do. There's no extravagant spending. Sometimes there are things that need to happen. I got hammered, I've been hammered, I don't know how many times, back in 2002, 2003 for the mill levy. Nobody understands, we built a jail back in then. We paved and redid, I don't know how many miles of road, a ton of road. And there were those years that we didn't do any roads because we didn't have the money for the oil.
Right.
And we didn't have a room full of people here complaining about it. We bonded $16 million for a new jail. We built all that new highway. We did a lot of stuff with the money. People were okay with it. No, they would have wished we would have spent less money, but they were things that needed to happen. And that happens on a yearly basis.
But that ties up a lot of capital. I mean, if we had that money freed up right now, that would do a lot of things. I mean, we'd be in
Yeah, and we'd have our prisoners right over here in this building.
Say it again.
Then all our prisoners would be right over here in this building.
Yeah, and I don't think they'd like to go back second time.
Yeah. And that was costing us between $200,000 and $300,000 a year just to maintain that building.
There was, but wasn't there something said about, we can just build this new jail that gonna be bringing in all kinds of money from the feds?
That's
and
what was said.
And
That's
it's
what was
not
said.
gonna, it's gonna actually reduce our costs in the
Yeah.
overall scheme of things, that
That's-
hasn't happened.
That's what was said.
That
not
hadn't
by
been
all
anywhere
commissioners,
close.
Not by all commissioners, but
Yeah,
that's what was promised.
But it was said.
That was what was on the radio. That
That's-
was the
that's what was
propaganda I
promised,
listened to.
I just got on the board at that time, going, oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
thing I would say is that I can, with the staff that I have, I can manage my budget. I can't manage my office without my staff. Like, there are things that I can do. I can try and go paperless. There are things that, I can maybe do without. We don't staple papers anymore when we send them out. We send everything by email. But, so it's not the things that truly affect the running of my department, it's my people.
That's how it is throughout the whole county.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. I'm just,
We don't run it, you guys run it.
Yeah.
We just hopefully give you enough money to do it.
yeah, and we can find a way. You give us a dollar amount, we'll find a way.
And we, as the sheet that Lisa gave us, that certainly, tells us quite a bit of stuff and that we have, tells us lots of stuff. Tells us that we're the highest mill levy, right? Tells us that we're the lowest valuation. Tells us we have more employees than everyone except for Kearney.
We're
That
short
was-
right now, the 2.5%, we're short, would you say about 60,000? 60,000. If you give me back your 60,000, Kelly, I'll go for 2.5%.
Tells us we're third in population.
Huh? There it is.
Tells us we're third in population in the group. Tells us that we're,
I am not gonna let you set me up to fail at my job, Russ. I'm not gonna let you do it.
I don't think we'll fail.
I
don't
have
think we'll fail.
elections coming up. We need to get training on somebody.
Well, we need to fix the problem you do have down there.
I didn't create the problem.
No, I agree with that too.
Okay.
I do agree with that.
so,
We're down to the COLA. How are we gonna pay a COLA, or are we going to pay a COLA? Is that correct?
Go with the 2.5%, but we gotta find $60,000 to do it with.
I think that can occur naturally. If they're wise stewards of their budget, that 60,000 will be there. And I know they'll be wise stewards of their budgets.
you're suggesting on doing it on a department by department basis.
Just
Let them work it out.
let them figure out how they're gonna pay for it out of their budget, but we need to get these people a pay raise.
Yeah, in comparison.
I don't think so. I mean, that's not the one I was just downloading. What
Well,
do I
that
do
was
with
the
that?
wage. That was the wage. Okay. 'Cause I've got the same one you've
Oh,
got, I
right
just don't know
here,
where it
right
is.
here, right here.
Here we go, right here.
Yeah.
Right here. I can go along with the 2.5. I'd like to see 3.
I know, we've done the 2.5 in past years when things were tight, and I think we're there
Yeah.
again. I think we're right there at the line. I think it'll fly. I think we can just go ahead with the 2.5 and make it go. That way everybody gets it the way it is, the way you have right now, you have everybody.
Oh, we're good at 2.5, Lisa?
Just leave everybody on it and
Yeah.
go 2.5.
And then what did you,
Stay on.
what did you do to stay where you're at? Did you increase revenue or something, or where, or?
I haven't done anything.
She hasn't changed
with
anything,
it.
we're just 60,000 short right now.
Okay, I can get it to figure out. I can get it, I'm just not gonna go jog my numbers right now.
Right.
If that's what you're gonna call for, it's not that far away. I
We're
mean,
good.
I have 50,000 sitting right now. What I can, just keep the revenue.
Well, and
I'm looking
we,
at general fund.
I said it, Mike said it, that it could be absorbed.
Right.
It could be absorbed throughout the year and without saying, I want you to cut this much out of yours and you cut that, no.
No,
No.
don't
Every-
have to be that
If
way.
everybody does what needs to be done, and we all know that if Darla runs out of money, she's gonna stand here in front of us and say, I need more money.
Yeah. What do you
Or the
guys-
sheriff, or anybody else. It is what it is.
Doesn't mean we always have to give it to them. We have, but it
We have.
doesn't mean we have to.
I understand that. You're right. You're right.
And I think there's areas that I.
Are you okay with 2.5, Mark?
I'm okay with the 2.5 for the COLA. You know I'm gonna vote no on the big package, so.
No, we're
So
still,
it's
we're
not
still,
changing
well,
that.
we're still under our last year.
Well, only if she adjusts something by 60,000, and she's saying she can do it.
Well,
I think I
she
can
won't,
figure it out.
she won't increase that mill. Leave that mill low.
No, I understand. I think she's not gonna
Why,
adjust.
why won't you vote for that big package if we,
Okay.
Well, I
keep
said-
the mill, if we keep the mill
big-
below last year?
Right, the 0.367. I said from the very beginning of it.
Make sure all the. colors-
What number are you wanting to be?
Well, I certainly wanted something less than that. I was hoping to be less than the pink postcard, and that's
I don't think-
substantially less.
What number is substantially less?
Let me see if I can find my numbers.
14.5.
14,570.
Oh, you're talking about the,
And we're at
Tax
15.2 now,
or
so
tax.
600,000 left.
well,
But again, that was I was in the minority on that, and I understand that.
Are we going to vote on the raise separately?
I don't think we need to vote on it. Do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, we do.
Well, let's vote on it.
It has to be.
Do it to
I don't know about that. Does it
Why?
have to be voted
it.
upon?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, we don't
You
have.
gave
just-
her the
You just put it in.
direction.
You just heard the
You just
direction.
put it in, you give
Yeah.
direction
Put it
to
in.
add it, do it.
We haven't voted on any other parts of this budget.
And
Do we have 3 or 4 people that'll go with the 2.5%?
2.5.
Well, the 2.5 doesn't.
2.5,
I'm not opposed to that.
2.5%. Huh?
I'm not opposed to that part of it.
Kenny, you're all right with 2.5?
Yeah, but that's
You're all
gonna-
right with
but
2.5?
that's gonna be
I'm
part-
all right with
that's gonna be
2.5.
part of the total
The big
budget.
one,
is
and the
not-
big one I won't
not-
be, and Charlie act like he would vote no, but that's still, I understand I'm in the minority and I'm okay with that. And, and the only thing we gotta be careful of, isn't there one vote along the way where
It's a percentage for
that you have to
Lisa.
have a percentage?
It went
Okay.
away,
Okay, good.
that's part of the.
So that would,
So
so
we're,
that'll.
so we're okay to move this forward and be done here?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
All right, kids.
All right, my motion is for 15,248,000, is that correct?
What are we doing? You don't have to vote on.
We don't have to vote on
You're
this
not
yet?
voting on the
I
whole
think
budget
that's
yet.
later we do that, isn't it?
Right.
You're
Yeah.
right.
She's gonna tweak the numbers.
You're right,
and bring it
okay.
back
She'll
to-
give us the exact.
I'm just trying to
Try
move
to
it
keep
along.
it close to that.
But I think we've given you
Keep
enough
going, keep
information to try and bring us
Two
back a
thumbs up.
finalized budget later. And when are you expecting that to be? Is that gonna be at a regular meeting, or will that be at a special meeting?
It's after joint public hearing.
Right.
And-
That's
and-
budget.
And that's,
And set joint public hearing is September 22nd. It'll be.
And we need to line out help setting up chairs.
Yes, we need help doing that. So we
where's it
will
gonna
need
be? Did you find it?
to- Gearing Civic Center.
Oh, the Geary, okay, last I knew we were working with the university.
When and where.
What's that?
Last I knew, we were still negotiating with the university. Out at Panhandle Station.
They
Sometime?
were, it was busy.
Oh, okay, that's fine, I'm all right.
Patty said we could do Civic Center, except we need to set up chairs. So we need to get,
105, the first
so we need to set the budget as
late as September 30th. I remember like the 25th, 26th, or 29th, I guess.
I don't know why. I was thinking we had to do it before the pink postcard.
No,
but
remember, that's
apparently
kind of
not.
the conundrum of the whole thing, is if you set your budget and your tax ask prior to the pink postcard, then you go to that and people go, we don't have a say. That gives you a chance to adjust if you want to, so you set it up.
So you're saying all the other, those other taxing entities don't have their
I did
things set?
correct that.
Right.
Yeah, they gotta get our numbers.
Yesterday.
Or Rockers called that.
No,
Yeah, they already
they
have
know the
that.
numbers now.
They got-
Yeah.
That's what we approved tonight, was so they could
We
get
used
their
to have-
final numbers.
The dates are the 14th through the 23rd when we have the joint public hearings, and we used to have to, Lisa used to have the budget set by the 20th.
Of
They
Sept-
changed it.
of September.
Yes, they changed it.
They've changed it, so yeah, we'll have to pick a
September
date
30th.
after the 22nd.
Okay, so it is later,
Yes.
but back when it was September 20th, was that before or after the pink postcard or?
I think they've adjusted
Prior
it
to.
within, since then, when they saw how they hadn't thought all of that through
Right.
yet.
Cause I remember telling people, I thought it was at the Mitchell one, or maybe it was out here, but I remember telling people, well, it's too late.
It was.
Most of these are already set.
Well, they're basically, by
So
then
they
they've
changed
already
that now.
published, and
Right,
so you can adjust, and we'd have to re-advertise, but
okay. So that's
Do it
changed
later.
now. Okay, I think I
We did it
understand.
later last year, we did it like September 25th.
Okay. So
Set the
that's
budget.
given you enough information to put your final numbers together,
yes.
and you'll let us know when you're ready to bring that to us.
Yeah. All right.
Is that it?
Thanks, Lisa.
I think so. I think that's gonna get us to the,
I got
okay. Any other business for this evening? All right, meeting's adjourned.
You're gonna break that handle.
Thank you, gentlemen. I even said I agreed with the 2.5, and I just don't agree with the full-blown story. Full,
And I got a feeling you never will.